What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? T to the M to the IDD. We are back for part 2. 5 things you need to start with off-camera flash on location. Now, I know that's a mouthful, but since we did the studio, I thought it would only be right to come back and talk about off-camera flash on location. So off-camera flash outside, let's talk about it. Now, again, all of these things are things that I personally would have liked people to tell me about when I first started. These are some things that I would have liked people to tell me about. Now, there will be a lot of things that differ amongst other photographers, but there will be some things that are kind of in line. And so you'll kind of get to see that overlap. What's going on, EW? What's going on, Got Any Photography? How is everybody doing? Yes, it's 5:30 right now, and I purposely went live a little bit early because, well, first of all, this is impromptu, but I know that I have people in places like Africa. Shout out to Got Any Photography. But then also like the UK, places like that where the time is just different. So, hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate that support. Man, what is going on? Nayusi. Am I butchering your name, or am I on target for that? So we had a great discussion that I think was filled with a lot of good information in terms of things that people would like to get or would tell you to get from a studio perspective. So now I wanted to take it outside, because what happens is a lot of us don't have studio space. And so when we don't have studio space, a lot of us started outside, and a lot of us prefer to still be outside. So with that in mind, I said, why not circle back and talk about some of the things that I would have liked to know first starting out with off-camera flash on location. It's just like Swahili. Got you. Okay. So we are going to get into it. The first thing that I want to talk about before we do it, and I'm sorry if you're catching this video months down the line, because this would be over, but I am doing a giveaway. So we have this light, which is a continuous light and a RGB light. And also, I believe it has some different effects. I haven't really played with it much. It has some barn doors, and then a color gel that you can apply. So I got the info in my community tab. A lot of us have the batteries that come with these already. I forget the name of them, but that is the battery that goes in here. So it can actually be a portable light too, but you can also keep it as a continuous light. So the information for this is in my community tab. Just a few things that you have to do to be entered into the drawing to win this light. And this light is actually brand new. So it comes with that, comes with the power cord, and yeah, it's a Sony battery. And then it comes with this adapter. I haven't even opened it, see? New out the box. Okay. Now we have a lot of people who do off-camera flash. A lot of people who do off-camera flash on location as well. Yeah, so I have not done any shoots with that. So that is like, yeah, fresh out the box. All I did was unbox it, and I unboxed it on Instagram, but this is the box that it came in. So I'll probably ship it in this and everything. Okay. So let's get to the main purpose of this video. And I appreciate all of y'all for joining in on this live. Now, what I want you to do as well, just like last time, is put out a few things. Your let's say your top 5 things again that you need on location for off-camera flash photography. Now, the given is that you have your camera and you have your lens. So besides that, and everything that comes with that, like a memory card, extra batteries, things like that, that's all given. Besides that, what 5 things do you need for your off-camera flash photography kit when you go to do whether it's a collab or it's a legit photo session on location? Let's talk about that. Now, the first thing that I want to say, or the first thing that we're gonna say for me, and the good thing is that I have my good old hard drive hooked up this time, so I can go into pictures and do some storytelling with this live. So the first thing that I'm going to say is you need a light, right? You need a light. So since I need a light, and we are talking about being outside, you kind of think about the worst case. Now, I want to keep in mind a budget, but at the same time, it's still at a point where I would want to, this is what I would have wanted to know. Now, a lot of times we are faced with situations outside, like the sun, where you need something that is going to be able to handle those lighting conditions, where you have somebody that wants to do a photo shoot at the peak of the sun. So when I take that into consideration, this would be the light right here that I would go for. So this is the AD400. Now, I have a Godox AD300 Pro, and I would recommend it, but if I was just going out, I would say a 400, because it definitely packs the power that you need if you were faced with some powerful sun. The 300 is a little bit of adjusting you will have to do. I've been in that situation where the sun is that bright, and I find myself having to, I can't really can't directly compete with it. I always have to be kind of meticulous about how I'm gonna get around it, right? So that type of light, I feel like, would be a great starting point for outdoors. Now that's a big commitment too. So I definitely say keep that in mind, that 8400 is a big commitment. So also know that there are other lights that you can use. Now, if you can plan out when you want to shoot, things like that, you can definitely still get a speed light and shoot outside. You have to be more cautious of when, and have to be more aware of your lighting in order to still get that nice pop from that flash. But just in terms of, if I wanted something where I didn't have to be as cautious and meticulous, I would say the AD400 Pro. But now, okay, let's see. I take my two Easy Glow Beauty Dish 34-inch, 20-inch, two C-Stands, my 3 Godox TT600 with the speed ring. Extreme triggers may be reflective, but most important, change intent is a must. Okay, I like that combination right there. I like that combination right there. And see, so there you have it. There are speed lights right there that you can definitely use speed lights and get the job done. So some of those things that you actually name, Trail, are great things to have, right? Like, especially to get the job done. Some of those things are not mandatory, but some of those things are. So for you, that change intent is a must. And I could see how that could be like totally important for on location photography, and it could be beneficial in terms of saving time, not having to go change and do things like that, because you can run into that problem where it was, thanks for dropping by, Chad, I appreciate that. It was the start of COVID, right? Was around February 2020, I believe that was, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. And the reason why I bring that up is that you mentioned that tent, right? Now, that tent is definitely important. And the reason that I say that is because I learned firsthand in 2020 around February that it was important. I did this shoot that I'm going to show you all right now. Okay. Let's pull this up. Okay. So I'm going to show you all this. Hopefully my computer complies with what I'm trying to show. Okay. This is, let me turn the sound off on that. Okay. Now let me show you all this video right here. So this video right here is when I had like bare minimum. This is on my channel also, and this was like 2020. So the reason why I bring that change intent up is because at this point I did not have a change intent, and COVID had just happened. It was stores very close to this location, but mind you, stores weren't letting people come in. So we could not go to the store for her to change her outfit, and she didn't want to change like in my car. and she didn't drive. So it presented a problem for us to get the job done. So, you know, it takes events like that sometimes where you start to realize, oh man, I need this, because I don't want this to happen or occur again, because now I have to go so much further to allow her to change, and then, you know, just disrupts the process and adds time on. So just kind of a little tidbit about the change intent. So definitely a great piece. Okay, so Freddie T, I use the 8300 Pro. Also, it can definitely be meticulous sometimes when the sun fully beaming, but it gets done for the most part at half or full power almost. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I just went ahead and said the AD400, because one, when I'm meticulous about it and the sun is fully out, I'm definitely at half power to whole power, and I'm probably at like one layer of diffusion, because two ain't gonna cut it, because I need almost everything that I can get out the light. But secondly, the 8300 Pro battery life is just, you know, I hate to say it, but for obvious reasons, we know that the 8200 has a longer battery life, but I would much rather a bigger battery on the 8300 Pro, just so that I can get more battery life out of it. Because the 8200, I felt like I never went to a point where it literally was about to die. But the 8300, I ran into it constantly where it was about to die. So that was a whole different situation. Okay, so the next thing that I am going to say now, you all, I actually just showed it in this clip, and that kind of shows like where I came from in terms of gear. Like I didn't have everything, right? But I used what I had, right? So let me show you all this, because the next thing that I'm going to point out is this light stand. Now y'all see that I started with this 24 by 24 softbox. Now that 24 by 24 softbox, I mean, it was getting the job done, but it really wasn't. I got the 8300 Pro sitting in there, but I wish I would have known better. I would have switched out that 24 by 24 a lot sooner. But before we get to that, let's talk about this light stand. This light stand, no, absolutely not. The next thing that I would say that you need on location is a light stand. And like those type of light stands are okay, but I really only would use that inside, just because that's flimsy, to say the least. What's going on, James Williams? That light stand is flimsy. So for me, it would be a stainless steel C-Stand, and I mentioned this in the previous live stream on the studio side. I would still go with a stainless steel, and Neewer actually has a great product that I use, and it has not failed me. So that light stand is important because it's carrying the load of everything. And you know, I was careless when it came to light stands for a long time. And if you watched like some of the previous videos, I actually put it in one video, but this light stand eventually tumbled during this shoot right here. Mind y'all, this is back in 2020. I'm using like the D800. But it actually did end up tumbling over. And so when it tumbled over, I didn't learn my lesson the first time, didn't learn my lesson the second time. Third time, my AD300 cracked. And then that's when I said, oh, I need a better light stand. So I kind of paid for it. So if I could give any info up front, I would say get a light stand for sure. Now, to go with that, that's my second thing. So we have the light source, we have the light stand. The third thing that I'm going to say is going to go with the light stand, and that is sandbags. Sandbags. Now, I have some sandbags, actually, one right here. Now, I know y'all probably never seen me use it a day in my life, because right now it's lacking sand, as you can see. But I would definitely weigh it down. Now, that would be my third thing. So we got the light source, we have the light stand, we have sandbags. Now, we have two more things, and you probably could guess one of them. And the last one you probably wouldn't guess immediately, but I'm sure somebody else will probably have it in their package. So let me know your top 5 things for on location off-camera flash photography. Okay, I'm not opposed to using off-camera flash. However, when you're under a tight budget, the power of open shade is always available. You just have to be very observant about your surroundings. Yeah, Omni concepts. That's absolutely true, because at that expense, like when you do natural light, you have to be more observant of your lighting, especially if you want to get that nice pop of lighting, and almost as if you have a flash, right? Because some people like off camera flash. Some people just like the look of off camera flash. Now, if you can replicate that look without actually having it, and so that comes along with you being observant with your surrounding. Like, let's see, I'm actually going to let us see. Okay. Because if you are observant enough, then you can get that exact look that you might be going for. And I actually have a few things right here already, but let me show you all this just to kind of demonstrate. So here is a natural light. This is all natural light, but it still has that pop to it, where a lot of people like off-camera flash because you get like that instantaneous pop, right? Some people don't feel like natural light can have that same pop as off-camera flash, but if you are strategic enough, then you can get that pop. So this was something that I just edited. I didn't even fully edit it. I just did the face for a tutorial that I did. So like, if you notice, the arms and the stomach is not touched at all. I just mainly did the face. And so this is natural light as well. So you can achieve good results, but a lot of people feel like the off-camera flash gives you like instantaneous results. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, definitely sandbags. Sandbags. One of my videos, everybody light was going down. I was like, man. So I have a AD200 with 38 inch glow parabolic dish. But I'm lazy about carrying it around. All right, now that's a great segue to saying that you have that 38. Now, I said the light source, which I chose the Godox AD400, right? And so since this is for beginner photographers too, I'm caveating everything to let them know that you don't need the AD400. It would be nice to have, but you can take a Speedlite and still do off-camera flash photography, just so that they have room budget-wise. And so for that, you could still take a Speedlite and do off-camera flash. I said the light stand, which I would say stainless steel C-Stand. And one of the reasons why I like the C-Stand with the boom arm is because you can put it in a butterfly motion, which means that the light is directly overhead the subject, just like this. And instead of the regular stand being directly in front of you right here, it's off to the side, so you don't have any obstruction in front of the subject. So you don't have to worry about maneuvering around the pole because the arm is boomed off, camera left or camera right. So then to accompany the C-Stand, I said sandbags. Sandbags, because your equipment is on that C-Stand, and if you can secure it even better, I definitely would. And it's definitely a great thing to get in the habit of doing, which I started off with no C-Stand. And I started off not putting a sandbag on my light stand. So I guess I'm not in a good habit, but at least I know that it's good to put sandbags on your C-Stand. And I'm letting everybody else know. Okay. So 2022, we are putting sandbags on our C-Stands. Okay. Chad, there's so many options for off-camera light that it has to overwhelm beginners. Exactly. And that is the thing. I could just think when I started, I had a young Newell for off-camera flash. And then when you get into the details and technical aspects, you're like, okay, so this works, but there's something else called high-speed sync that I know nothing about, but apparently if I get this other flash that has high-speed sync, then I don't have to worry about my shutter speed. So actually, I shouldn't have got this young Newell. I probably should have just went ahead and got another Speedlite that already had high-speed sync. But you don't know what you don't know, right? So that is the thing that is overwhelming. And so that's one thing that I'm aiming to kind of answer up front with like these videos is, telling them like you do have other options, but if I could, I would go with this. So definitely put your top 5 things you need for off-camera flash in the chat if you have not done so already. With the sandbags accompanying the sandstand, the fourth thing that I would say is my light modifier. I like soft light, so I need a light modifier. Some people like to shoot without a modifier, which you can definitely do, especially if you want that type of look. There's actually a video I'm about to work on is doing harsh studio light. When you want like that harsh looking light in the studio, I think it's very very strategic about when you use it for wanting that look, but something that I'm going to do. But as far as the modifier, I would say you got space outside, so 34 is like where I would say is good. But if you can go big, 30, 38, when you start getting to 42 and things like that, like it's lovely to have that size modifier. And that is when you start talking about really needing the sandbag, because uh, the bigger modifiers start to become wind sails when they get that large, because the surface area of that diffusion panel, 42 inches across, all that wind catching it can take it. So that is another thing. So I feel like around 34, I am satisfied with the light output when I'm outside. Bigger is okay, but just for this sake, off camera flash, 34, 36 is perfectly fine. What I actually used yesterday, I had a prom session that I did yesterday, and I took out the Manny Ortiz 36-inch beauty dish. And 30, 34, 36, I'm happy with. Like, I have bigger modifiers, and those are beauty dishes. I have bigger ones, but that's fine. Let's see. So slick shots. I use the 80-200, and I have two TT685s, 25-inch softbox with a 34-inch globe dish on the way to go with the D750. And yes, like Chad said, very overwhelming at times. Yes. So definitely, and that's one thing that I like, is like if you have questions, because sometimes when you are like, I'm not gonna say like far removed, but at like this point now that I'm at, not saying like, oh, T Mid is a guru, but sometimes I just know so much now that you just don't even think about it anymore. Whereas at first, when I was first starting, I used to think about, oh, what settings? Oh, what's the distance? Oh, but everything is just like kind of like circulating in your head to the point where you don't even think about it. It's secondhand nature, and you kind of forget that point that you were at when you first started. So sometimes it's always good to be reminded when people have questions. It's like, oh yeah, okay, this is why this is, or this, so definitely feel free if y'all have any questions or anything in the chat right now that you feel like would be helpful for someone else watching this. Definitely put it in the chat so that we can address it, because that's what this is all about. And like I said, you see someone else using speed lights, so you could definitely use speed lights for off-camera flash photography outside. B Davis, I still with the rock with the OG 8600 C-Stand 60-inch softbox, super heavy, clumsy setup, but produces bangers. Exactly. So that is a heavy duty setup, but you know what you're going to get, right? And you're prepared to take that with you, right? So, and that's the thing. It's kind of a trade-off. It's like, all right, I know what my go-to setup is. I know what the payload is looking like. So when I have that call to go outside and create something, I already know what I'm dealing with. Chad, have grids replaced barn doors, or is that apples and oranges? So, yeah, I don't think that they have replaced them. I don't think they have replaced them. I know that like with the optical Snoot, you start to get like some of those effects that you would achieve with the barn doors. Like you see a lot of people using a slit. I know at first I used to use the barn doors to get kind of just like that slit of light. Then the optical Snoot came out and I could just put the gobo and get that slit of light. But one thing that's interesting is I don't find myself using barn doors as much. And I have them for the Godox V1 and the Godox AD400. But I much rather will put a grid on my modifier than use a barn door. So it's interesting. I rarely use it. SJ, my go-to is a 42. See, we got people that's willing to take that 42 out. Trail's high-speed sync is overrated in my opinion. Rather use ND filter, allow you to stay within sync, still use flash. Exactly. That's a great point. So let's see. Debating between an 8400 and 600, which would you go with, and why is the 600 cheaper? So I feel like the 400 would get the job done. I feel like the 400 would get the job done. And let's see. So depending on which 600 you looked at could be the reason, because you have like a pro version and then you have like a BM version, which is not the pro. So that's a cheaper version. So for me, like if money wasn't a thing, then I would go 600, just because I would want the power even if I don't need it. But if I'm like, okay, a budget and the 600 that I want is more than the 400, then I'm going to go with the 400, because I know that can still handle, sunlight. The 600 is going to like effortlessly handle it, but I know the 400 can still do it. So I probably invest in a C-Stand at some point. Currently, I don't collaborate with enough people to justify investing in more portrait-friendly gear, since I shoot a lot of wildlife. Definitely understand. What was your first go-to photography genre choice? People find it a bad thing to pursue two genres of photography equally. Yeah, so mine was naturally to go with portrait. So that's kind of where mine started from, just naturally. Now I did have a problem with getting models and things, but eventually I was able to overcome that hump right there. Now the last thing that I would say is interesting, because we have it in the chat, and so I would have that ND filter. So we have the light source, the light stand, we have sandbags, we have the light modifier, and then we have ND filters. And I'm going to put this in the description just so that everyone can see it. But the ND filters for the exact reason of being able to stay under the high speed sync speed. And let's see. So I'm going to try. Let's see if we can go to my page. And I actually use the ND filter for this image right here. So this image right here, I use the ND filter. Now I had a combination of two AD200s with a AD-B2 adapter, which essentially makes the AD200s a AD400. So I could have just maxed out the power and still been good. But this was a bright, sunny day on in Las Vegas, as you can see. And so I went with the ND filter to stay below that high speed sync speed, because when you do that, it affords you more power, because when you go in a high speed sync, then you get that power loss, or you're subject to that power loss. So to prevent myself from doing that, I put on the ND filter and I shot it like this. So this also was the picture that got featured by Nikon, and you can see Nikon commented on the photo. Okay, so let's see. Speedlite, trigger, receiver, softbox, light stand, sandbags. I appreciate that, J. Mitch. I appreciate that, Omni Concepts. So yes, so so what J. Mitch said, so yeah, that trigger definitely would be the combo package with that light source, so that everything communicates with each other. That is a go-to right there, right? So and I feel like when you start talking about ND filters, immediately people don't really understand why you need them. But as you get more technical, then you start to understand and see. So it's kind of a thing where certain things happen and you react to it. And then you start doing a lot of research as to, like, man, I'm getting this problem. I'm getting this line going across my picture when I shoot at 1/640 with my flash. And then you do research and you figure out, it doesn't have high speed sync. So now you're like, I don't have any money to buy this light that has high speed sync. So what's the workaround? And now you figure out, the workaround is an ND filter, because they act as sunshades and avoid light from getting in your lens, and then you become more knowledgeable about what's going on. And I think that's the great thing, because when you do research on topics like that, you retain more information. Otherwise, like somebody just telling you really quickly, it seems like for me at least, like it's easier for me to forget. But when I go do the work myself, I retain the information a lot more and really get a deep understanding for everything. So let's see. NDs are a game changer for sure. I used it for slow shutter landscape to smooth out the water. Oh yeah. Listen, that right there, I love, like, when those landscapes like he's talking about, that smooth water effect. Man, that is something. And I'm actually trying to take some landscapes myself, because that's something in itself. So those are my 5 things: the light source, the light stand, sandbags, we have ND filters, and so we had the light, and the modifier. So the light modifier, C-Stand, ND filter, and sandbags. So if you have not put your 5, please put your 5 in the comments below. Also, T-Mid time. I don't ever have a watch on when I say that, but please let me know where you are watching from right now. I have my hard drive connected from when I first started my YouTube channel, 2019. So it's coming up on 3 years that I have had the YouTube channel. And when I switched modifiers from that 24 to 24, it was a game changer. When I learned about putting the grids on the light modifier or double diffusing the light on the modifier, it was a game changer. I just learned how to shape light differently. Okay, so let's see. All right, we have PA, we have Chicago. Now a few of us also talked about some things that others would consider as things that may just be nice to have, right? Nice to have. So there's a lot of things that you don't need, but some things that you may feel that you need with that setup. So with that large setup, okay, we got South Carolina, Jessup, Maryland, Atlanta, Georgia, Jay Shatcher, Trigger Troy, James William, Chad, J Mitch. I appreciate everybody supporting. Okay, so I want to, it's interesting, right? So I'm in a few Facebook groups, and it's interesting how, like, when I first did some of this stuff, it didn't get much recognition. But I post pictures that I took from back in 2019, 2020, and now for some reason, I don't know why, they just like are getting put as, oh, this is nice, you know? But when I first took it at this time, so this is one, just popped on Kentucky. Okay. So when I first took the image, I was like, oh, this image is nice. And we are staying in tune with off camera flash right here, ladies and gentlemen. So this one right here, let's see. So this was in 2020. And this was maybe July, August. Don't quote me too much on the date, but 2020 right here. Okay. And this was a one light setup with a gel. Now, where I say the AD400 Pro like maxes out in terms of light, the light was out on this particular day. Like, you can see this is a BTS. If you haven't watched this video, go back to like 2020 somewhere on my channel and you'll see it. And so this right here kind of sums up what my setup would be. Now, I told you all, don't hold it against me because I don't ever really have a sandbag, but I would put a sandbag on there nowadays. Then I have this Neewer C-Stand right here. And then I have my light source, which this is a Godox AD400. But if I had my option just starting out, it would be an AD400. And then I have my light modifier, which is a 34-inch Easy Lock Glow. And we have Slick Shots from Memphis, Tennessee. All right. And so this is the model right here. But the reason I bring this up is because the sun was out right here. Like, my shutter was at 1/8,000. 2020, I don't think I knew anything about, well, I think I did know about ND filters, but I didn't pursue to get one. I just went with a flash and was like, I'll just high speed sync it to death. So that's what I ultimately ended up doing right here. And so you see kind of like this behind the scenes shot, right? And what it ended up looking like. Now, another thing that I don't do anymore is I don't put my logo on that stuff anymore, because now this wouldn't even be like my legit photo logo. It would be a signature now. But in 2020, I was throwing this bad boy on everything. You couldn't tell me nothing. I finished my picture, I'd be like, yep, this teammate going right there. You're gonna see this. You're gonna see this logo. You're gonna know who took this picture right here. But this is a great example to show like the 8300 can still get the job done. It might be at its peak performance trying to compete with the sun, but you can still make it happen. You can still make it happen. What's going on, Dwayne? We got Florida, ain't it? So this was 2020, you all. So keep that in mind. 2020. So yes, the 8300 Pro can compete with the sun. And you actually can see, like, look at the sand. Now, don't judge the sand in this picture, because this is in Maryland and we barely have any beaches. So for me to have this photo and it's actually shot in Maryland, this this is the best we're gonna get right here. Okay. But you can see the harsh shadows from the sun on the sand. So you know that sun was out there trying to wreck my shot. But ultimately it ended up great. And you can see the sun like peeking through here. And this is the D800 as well. Okay. Have you ever used your light modifier to just block harsh light to shoot with natural light? So, all right, let me come to that. Sonley from Haiti, thank you for tuning in. Passing through to get some pointers. Keep rolling. Thank you. Urban, make sure you drop Shore. Urban Kicks Filming, make sure you drop where you watching from. It does look good. I appreciate it, Dwayne. So, Omni Concepts. When I have that flash out there, oh, I'm going to use flash. I carried it out there, it's going to get used. If that battery is not dead, it's going to get used. Now, what I have done is something similar that you are kind of alluding to, but not all the way. Now, one technique that you can use when you have harsh sun, and that comes with actually being out practicing, learning lighting and things like that. You start to get like strategic and smart about how you go to light a situation, right? So here, let's see. I have okay. So this is the good thing. This is one reason why I like using why I like having YouTube, because I can go back to like everything that I've done, and just like right here, it's like a learning experience that I'm like sharing with you all. So to your point about using a light modifier to block the sun to use natural light, definitely would work. You definitely have to check out your background though, because you don't want to use the light modifier to block the light, right? Block the harsh light so your person can be in shade, but then in the background you have harsh light, right? Because for most part it doesn't look too pleasing. So let me go to my screen. This is a video on my channel also. So if you haven't seen this video, this is where I was just playing with a different lighting setup. You see I have this light. That's why I like this Neewer too. I think it goes up to like 10 feet. So I had this just kind of like draped over her. But what you can see in this video is these little specks of light peeking through the tree canopy. And so what I did was, oh, and this is actually another thing showing that you can use a speed light for on location flash. I use this speed light as my main light, and all I had was a dome on there. So there you have it. You can use a speed light. Okay. So I had like a 3 light setup right here, just trying something different. And this was fall, so you all see that. This was 2020 as well, I believe. So all this is old on my channel if you have not seen it. Okay, so this is a great example. Okay, so you see her sitting on kind of like this brick structure. So what's going on? Vincent Love, thank you for tuning in. So what's going on is the light is coming through the tree canopy. So I want this shot right here, and I'm actually using natural light right here. Ironically, I'm using natural light right here. And I think I did do a natural light shot right here because when I blocked the light, I realized that the natural light looked good. So this was a natural light shot right here. And I liked how the light was coming through the trees right here. And what I liked about it specifically was that the light was hitting her right in her face and like accentuating her eyes, because she has like beautiful eyes. So for me, it worked right here. A lot of the times, it has to look pleasant. That's kind of like the key thing. And this right here, when I first got my D850. So this is the D850 right here. Dylan Photography, what is going on? So what I proceeded to do was, see right here, this is kind of like a hot spot right there. So I probably would take my highlights down. Also, at this point, 2020, I was not using Photoshop, you all. I was doing Lightroom with everything. Okay. So, oh yeah. So those was actually unedited right there. Those unedited. Okay. And then that's an edit. So that's what I ended up doing right there. You see, I used this Softbox to block that light from coming in. And then I used the flash. So that is like a perfect example of having, if you see like in the left corner right here, you got the harsh light coming through, hitting the model. So what I did was use this Softbox to block that harsh light coming in. And then in this setup, I think I use this as the main light here, this Softbox. And then I use this Godox V1 as a backlight. So that's one way you could be strategic with your setup to kind of block it out. How often do you use a speed light on location, and would it be better used as a hair light? So I think you could use a speed light for anything really, right? Currently I would use it as a second light. Just given my setup, I have the other lights to work with, right? But in the studio, I would use it as a nice hair light, just because I would want to put it on a boom to make it a hair light. It'd just be more convenient for me. So when you think about the weight of a speed light versus a AD300, you don't have to worry too much about that weight distribution. But now using a speed light, it is rare for me. It is rare just because I am going to have that 8300 out there 9 times out of 10, and doing 2 light setups. It's really rare doing a 2 light setup unless I really see the benefit. Then I'm gonna do it, because we all know how much work it takes to take the stuff on location. So then when you like, oh, I gotta set up another light stand, another light modifier, and I gotta put this other light out. Is it worth it? Are these pictures okay where I'm at? Okay. So you start making life decisions when you out there doing shoots. Are your models generally patient with you when you are playing around with your lighting options? So for the most part, they are, and that is because most of them are collabs. So at that point, I'm already telling them like, yeah, I think I want to try this. So we're gonna try this. And for the most part, they generally cool with just trying things, especially her. Like, your models tend to fall off every now and again. So her, she was like my ride or die model. Like, she would try pretty much anything. And that was good for me, because like when I'm starting off my channel, this is 2020, so I'm just trying things at this point. So while I'm trying things, she's like, yeah, like I'm down to try whatever. So we tried so many things to the point where I knew I could count on her. And actually, we supposed to do another shoot, but that's one thing about people who are not like dedicated models, to the point where they don't really call themselves a model. Like, she is a person that doesn't call herself a model. So it was just a thing where she was like, yeah, I'll be down to take pictures. So since she isn't like dedicated to it, it's just kind of like I can get her when I can get her. And it's not really like, oh, we're gonna do it this time. It's just like, if you free, then we could do something. So that's one difference about these people that are not dedicated models. You have to kind of like work around their schedule. So if y'all see a lot of y'all have seen a lot of models kind of like come in on my channel, and then you don't see them again. You like, yeah, I haven't seen her in forever. Like, even her, right? This was the last shoot we did in 2020. It's 2022. We haven't did anything in 2 years. So that just lets you know, like, it just falls off like that, and it's okay, and it just happens. Now, I would definitely shoot her again though. So hopefully we can make that happen. Maybe y'all seen some of these trends with some of your models as well. Like, they just fall off, and it's like, we could say like, I have like, actually the person in this thumbnail, y'all, in this thumbnail is another one. I started working with her at the end of 2020 as well. We did like one video in January or February of 2021. And then after that, ghost. It was like no longer. So the things that we talked about were things that we consider like our go-to, right? So if we move beyond the things that are just go-tos, what is a nice to have for on location photography? I want everybody to give me one thing that is a nice to have. Somebody's nice to have may be a changing tint, right? Yeah, I mean, for me, that's a great like essential thing. But I don't know how often, when I do photo shoots, I try to do like 3 outfits because, just like I said, models vanish. You don't know when you're gonna see them again. So if you at least got 3 photo shoots, you got 3 sets of content to work with. So let's see the main thing, a main nice to have. Let me see what you all's nice to have is, and I'm going to let you know what my nice to have for on location photography. Okay. So let's see. I think I did this. I don't think I did the edit on it though. Oh yeah, okay. Let's see. A change in tint would be a nice to have. Okay. So a change in tint is a nice to have. All right. Now, change in tints can be like things where people are like, oh, you gotta change the tint? Okay. But it's also like time wise, oh man, can save you so much time. Especially like if somebody gonna rather change in their car, you don't really have that much space. Nah, put this change in tint in. This was another shoot from 2020. And so she is like another person. Like she doesn't call herself a model either. I actually just went to school with her, but getting her to come out, this was with the D800. It's hard to get her to come out too. So it's like you just gotta get what you get. Like with this particular shoot, last minute she was like, yeah, we could do it. So I took her up on it. We just grabbed the outfit. I just was like, we just gonna shoot almost anywhere that I could find just so that I could have this content. Because the other thing in 2020, if you think about it, I was really like scrambling to be able to make content because I just felt like photo shoots was the only content that I can make. But as you start to like learn and grow on YouTube, you start to figure out how to make different content. And so now I'm at a point where I don't have to just go out and do photo shoot. Like I know how to make content. So that's one thing. All right, so we just have the change intent. Nobody else has a nice to have. I'm telling you all that when I tell you all this nice to have that I got for everybody is going to probably agree with me. For on location photo shoots, a nice to have. Some of you may even think that it may even deem it as essential. You may deem it as essential. Okay, so J Mitch, an assistant. I know it's not equipment. No, but that's valid though. That is valid. You know the thing about that for me is that I'm so used to being a one man band that even when I have somebody to help me, I still find myself doing everything myself until like oh yeah like oh you need that move, then I'm like oh yeah okay because I just so used to getting up and moving what I need to move and things like that. Let's see. So it's like, yeah, I have an assistant, But then it's like, I don't, because I'm just like automatically going. So as far as models, so like this is another model that like came and went. Like last time I worked with her was like January 2021. And so that's why I say, like, you get as much content as you are able to get in that moment, because you never know like what's going to happen, right? So we did this shoot. I'm not sure if I put these photos out, but I do have a video. I do have a video of this particular photo shoot. Well, it's not this one exactly. Let me go to the picture of the photo shoot that I do have on my channel. And this is when I was just experimenting with light. This was in 2020, I believe, or early 2021. And I literally just put this video out maybe in 2021, the end of 2021, if not 2022, because I know I put this video out like super late. So this is where, and this is studio photography, but this is a one light setup. Oh no, this is two lights. I'm sorry, but that is like, it's like the models come and go. Okay, so they have to mirror me for the most part and know how I work. Yeah, it's like, all right, you wanna know? It's funny because I know somebody just like that. That's like, they'll tell you to hold the light, and it'd be like, all right, I got the light. Like, just tell me where I need to move it. And they are so used to being a one man person that they'll just come take the light from you. Be like, never mind, I got it. It's the funniest thing, because it's like you can't. I've seen like 3 or 4 people try to be like the light person for them, and they automatically get the light every time, because you just can't do it right for them. It's just something about it, All right, so we don't have any nice to have. So we got the assistant, which is a nice to have. Yes, like I would use an assistant, like carry my stuff, um, reflector holder, things like that. Like assistant, especially if they know your workflow. Once they start to know your workflow, then definitely they can become like irreplaceable. Yeah. I agree with you, Urban. It's hard to get others to see your vision. Now, my nice to have is a cart. I believe it's almost essential for on location photography. I believe it is almost essential, because yesterday it was like 91 degrees, and I had my C-Stand out. I had the light modifier, the light. I had my book bag. And if I did not have that cart with me, I don't know how I would have made it, because it was just blazing. And then especially like the prom photo shoot that I was doing, they were late. They didn't know where they wanted to shoot, really. So having that cart allowed me to kind of scope some things out, versus if I just had the freehand, like a C-Stand on my back, a light modifier in this hand. No, I would have looked. I would have been like, yeah, we're gonna shoot right there. That's good enough right there. I totally agree with that. I've left certain things in the car because I couldn't carry it all. Exactly. Exactly. And that's the thing. Like when you got that cart, you like, oh, you you show out on that. You like, yeah, I'm taking everything because all I have to do is pull it. I don't have to do anything else. So slick shots. Do you prefer shooting outside or inside? Now let me give you all the background on like how that even like occurred with me having the studio. Right, you try to bring the house. Yeah, you got, hey, but a lot of people put everything in that cart, so when they pushing it, they look official. And if they look official, that might mean some people looking, and that might mean some business for them. So the outside the outside shooting was like my bread and butter, right? Um, Now YouTube, you have to be consistent, and one of those things, as far as being consistent, means bringing content no matter what. And so in Maryland, winter isn't as bad in terms of snow, but winter is winter and it's cold. So people don't want to go outside. And so I knew that when I first started, I didn't have enough content to make it through a winter to be able to keep feeding YouTube. I knew that it would only be so long for my content to be depleted and be like, okay, like when is the sun coming out so that I could shoot? So that's what kind of forced me to start building the studio setup, because I didn't have anything in my basement, and I didn't even use my basement. So it was like perfect. So now the studio is kind of a thing where wintertime is definitely in full effect to create whatever. Um, Summertime, when it's too hot, is definitely in full effect because I don't want to go out in the heat. But when it's just right, I would rather go outside. Um, and currently, I do prefer shooting outside. I do prefer shooting outside. Now, natural light, I just actually I just did a natural light shoot, but I didn't make the video yet. I have to edit the video, but that that went great. Like I'm gonna put that out. And the thing with using natural light is you don't have to bring all this extra stuff. So you don't have to think about as much about, oh, I have to carry this, I have to carry that. Like you could have a reflector in your camera, maybe an ND filter if you want it, but you don't even really need that. So it's more so of a thing of, on the scale, like how lazy am I today? Sometimes I have to build myself up to be like, all right, we're going to go to this place. Because you also have to think about like parking. Some people want to do photo shoots in DC. But when you think about parking, you're like, do I want to deal with that? Traffic, do I want to deal with that? So it's all those things that I know we all kind of go through where you kind of like, man. But wholeheartedly, outside, I would rather be outside. And one of the main reasons is outside just has so much more to offer. Like, I don't know why, but models they don't they don't get tired of just a backdrop. And I get tired of just a backdrop, right? Like sets would be great. And I've been trying to like make sets, but one of the things that kind of sucks is like not having a dedicated model, because you make a set and then the model don't come through. It's like, all right, how I'm supposed to put this together now? Because I have a certain person that I want for that certain set, right? So if I can't get that certain person, then that set for me isn't really getting its full potential that I really had the vision for. So yeah, that cart. Yeah, and that's the other piece. Sets require money, tools. I mean, look, y'all seen I put together that DIY pedestal, and that took time, it took money, and it took tools. So when you think about all of these things, your creativity, like if you only have a backdrop and you can't do a set and things like that, like I totally understand that. But where your creativity can come into is using props. Like if you can go thrift and go to Amazon or some of these other websites and thrift and just get props, that could add to it. Or the lighting. Like if you switch up the lighting, then it adds a whole different dimension. Like this picture right here was 2000, the beginning of 2021, maybe like January 2021. I kid you not. Long time ago. But when I took this picture and I switched up the lighting, I automatically knew that it was a banger. I just knew when I looked at it after I took it, I was like, oh, this is a banger. And this picture right here, I have on Pinterest for photo shoot ideas. This picture right here gets saved so much that it is crazy. Like literally crazy how many people save it. And actually somebody just sent me a screenshot of a message where they were talking to a model, and the model said, yeah, I have some inspiration that I want to do. The model sent them this picture from my Pinterest and sent it to the photographer. So the photographer contacted me and sent me the screenshot and was like, look at this, man. And I was like, hey man, I'm just out here trying to be great. So they're like, man, I gotta add my own spin to it because I can't just do what you did. But the reason why I bring that up is because being creative with your lighting can offer you more avenues than, because if you only have a backdrop, like think about it, this is literally just a plain backdrop. But the fact that I adjusted the lighting did so much more for this image than if it was her doing the same exact pose without the lighting change. Like, just think about that. If I did not have that blinds effect on there, how spectacular would this image be? It's the fact that I changed the lighting is what brought this whole image together. So if you don't have access to making sets, then you have to utilize props that you could find for cheap, that may not take as much work. And then also switching up that lighting is essential. Okay. So we have, oh yeah, you look official when you pull up with that cart. I'm telling you, everybody, and you better have your your company on your chest with your Instagram on your back, because everybody is going to be looking. I'm telling you. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to that. Okay. And if you are just joining, make sure you drop where you are watching from. And also, we are talking about the 5 things that you need for off-camera flash photography. Now we are talking about some lighting. I'm just go into these comments, or even things around your home can be used as props. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you said that, because I have two examples where I just literally use things around my house. One thing that if you watch my studio setups, that you will notice, and I don't think that I have it on this particular hard drive. Actually, I probably do. Let's see. All right, we ain't gonna show that one because we gotta stay monetized out here. Okay, so let me see. I'm gonna try to get a angle where you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. So let me switch to the screen so you all can see. Okay, so this is the behind the scenes, right? And I told you I was like slowly building my set. So you can see right here, I didn't have the impact varipose system just yet, but it slowly came, right? All right. So if you haven't seen this photo shoot, this is on my channel. But this is what I'm talking about, using things around your house. This mirror is not on the wall anymore. It is on the ground because I was going to use it for a photo shoot outdoors. So I never got to do the photo shoot outdoors, so it never went back on the wall. But every model that comes into my house, they go to that mirror, and I've actually used that mirror as a prop in like the studio setup. So that is a great example of that. Okay, so Animal Donut, I'm happy to see you live again. Really enjoy everything you share on your channel. I agree about shooting outside versus in the studio. The pictures definitely bang. Keep up the awesome work. I appreciate that, Animal Donut. I like shooting outside because of limited background, bokeh, and off-camera flash, but I don't know if that's because I don't have a studio. Listen, you get a studio set up. I honestly, if I be realistic with you all, I feel like I got lazy a little bit, so I feel like I don't go outside as much, and so that's one thing I'm hoping to overcome this particular this particular summer is I want to be outside more. I want to be outside more. So I feel like since I've gotten that set up, and like it works for me, right? Like I feel like I produce bangers like time in and time out. So it's like a setup that I know I can go to. I don't have to go outside. So it just works for me. All right. What's going on, Brandon Hines? I got a cart as well as the C-Stand heavy duty. Listen, and when you have that heavy duty C-Stand, 9 times out of 10, you got a cart because you ain't trying to hold that bad boy. I'm telling you, it's like it's extra weight, but it's like, hey, I'll take that extra weight because it's securing my things. Have any suggestions on strobes to buy? So the strobes, you really can go down into a few things, right? And let me get this other memory card or hard drive for you all. But what I want you all to put in the chat is put some strobes that you all have in the chat right now for me. So if you don't know, I do all my live stream through my old PC that I used to use as my main computer, and then I have my Mac back there that I use for like editing videos, editing photos, things like that. All right, so James Pro Photo B1. Now listen, James got money because T-Mid ain't got Pro Photo, no, nothing. I have used it in the studio though. And what I think about, like those more expensive lights is like error and tolerance become more well defined, less error and tighter tolerances. And what I mean by tolerances is consistency in terms of like power output and consistency in terms of the color temperature that you get from the light. When you get those more expensive lights, if they say like, we shoot at 5600 Kelvin plus or minus this, like it's going to for sure be within that tolerance, because that's what you start paying for, as well as like, quality of the material, of course. But when you start working with tolerances that are tight like that, that's where you start paying more money, because that efficiency costs. So let's see. Okay, so let's see what we have in the chat. All right, Pro Photo B1 280 200 is the B2 adapter. I would get, now that I have an 80 200, I would buy another 80 200 with that 80 B2 adapter to have essentially a 80 400, because you can combine them. But if I did not already have an 80 200, I would get an 80 400. But kind of cuts costs, saves on cost. Let's see what I got. Listen, y'all, I have so many things plugged up right here to make this all work. Okay, what else do we have? Brandon Hines 8400, 8200. Okay. And I want to like I feel like this is important to show you all when it comes to like creativity and using things that you just have, like, because this was definitely something that I just had in trying to bring some type of interest to your photos. And this is a way you can do it. So the first thing was with lighting, and I showed you all that first image, right? And I'm going to show you another one with that same and these were all right. So 8400. What's going on, Danny? Smell Good Photography, Flashpoint 600, High Speed Sync, and Evolve 200. Okay, y'all drop these likes. I appreciate that, Brandon. I don't own a strobe currently. 8200 is considered off-camera flash. Yeah. So 8200 off-camera flash, just more proficient. I would love to invest in an Elinchrom system. Yeah, Elinchrom. I might, if y'all see me with something like that in the title, I'm like, this always gonna be T-Mid. I ain't gonna go Hollywood on y'all, but just know just know these, you know, I take 1,000 shots in the studio. It's gonna be limited to 50. If you ain't get what you want in 50, we ain't about to abuse my light no more. All right, so let's see. D-Row, have you seen the Glow Foldable Beauty Dish? I have seen it, and I see a lot of people swearing by it. Now, I was going to make a video to combat that because, you know, I know it's foldable and all those things, but I'm thinking about in terms of like how much of a benefit is that for you all. If you have a collapsible Softbox that, you know, that has like a circumference of, I mean, I guess if the bones amount adapter on there, that's like a 6-inch circumference. So taking up that 6-inch space on the bones ring. But when you get to the Softbox, it kind of folds up smaller. So you really only have the bones mount to worry about in terms of space. The Softbox piece is pretty flexible. So I have an 80B2 with an 8200. So yeah, so you could easily get another 8200 and then have the 8400. All right, Till, what's going on? You got the Flashpoint 400 and two 8200 Pros and the 80B2. Okay, so listen, y'all. I was looking at another light to get. But right now I have the 8300, 8200 Godox V1. All right. And let's see. Let's bring up this other file really quick for you all. Because, you know, it's all about being able to be creative, right? Like trying to push yourself and push your creativity to the next level. All right, so I showed you all this image. Let's see. Let me go back. Okay, so this image right here. And we're talking about you know, trying to add some creativeness. So using lighting can be one way. So I use light differently here, and it afforded me some different type of creativity, right? So another one that was like that was, and when you have bangers, you kind of know you have bangers, right? Okay, it's not too much questioning about it, but this photo right here was another way that I use lighting to make it interesting, because this was literally on a black and white, I mean, not black and white, a white backdrop. But the fact that I added a color gel to the white backdrop to make it look gold is what changed the lighting and made it more interesting. Because I feel like without that gold light, I feel like this image doesn't do as well. It does not do as well. So let me just go to the BTS of this, right? So this is the BTS. So you can see it just looks flat without that color gel back there. And the fact that I added the color gel is what boosted it up. Just know the money is coming in. yeah, I got that. Hey, if I got the Ellen Chrome or something like that, just know the money is coming in. 8400 changed my life using strobe outside. Yeah, so that 8400, I'm telling you, like 8600 is great to have, but the 8400, yeah. Have you used the MS 300 listen, the MS300 is like the light that I use all the time. Actually, in this picture right here, connected to the softbox is a MS300 go-to studio light. Go-to studio light right there. But that this was more so to say, like, you know, use what you have, and to kind of show you all, because what was this, a dress? Nah, this wasn't. I just have so much stuff right here. We're gonna go to it. Okay. So this is literally stuff that I pulled out of I literally pulled this stuff out of my house right here. Now, I haven't even shown this video to anybody, or I haven't even put this video out, anything like that. So y'all getting the exclusive picture right here. This is the same thing where I'm saying, like, use what you have in your house. This is a raw image right here. And y'all know this is Natalia. And so this backdrop is actually a white, but I put a RGB light on the back of it to go with kind of her dress color. And then I wanted a color to kind of contrast that. And I was like, what better than some gold? And so I had this gold candle holder, and this table is supposed to be gold. So kind of like this gold table right here. And I just put those two things together with the candle in there. And I said, we're going to make this happen like this. That's going to be our setup right there. We're going to make it work. But again, I haven't put this video out yet. Like, I still have to edit it. But, you know, that's why I'm saying, like, things around your house can actually help you. You could use as props too and make it interesting. Now, with her, I'm going to be honest, like, she's a gorgeous model. So honestly, I really probably wouldn't even need the props because she is going to make the photo herself. However, me having the props adds to the photo and to your portfolio, because if you know, you look at your page, you're like, I just got a lot of shoots with backdrops. Then people start saying, oh, they got some props in there. And it just kind of takes it up a level, right? So if y'all want to see that video, let me know. I'll do some editing and try to push it out. It was definitely a process getting that all together though. So let's see. Did you pose her, or she came up with that? Oh no, yeah, I posed her right there, because once I got all that together, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. So yeah, I posed that, put everything together. What it's about is using what you have. Equipment is not the answer most of the time. In my experience, it's the knowledge. Exactly. And if you have the knowledge, you could put that together with your experience and make it work. Like, one of the quotes that, you know, always stuck to me when I first started working at NASA, they had me doing everything. One of the things that I had to learn was using a CNC machine. And so if you don't know what a CNC machine is, you essentially do like a 3D drawing. So like, let's say we want to make the molding of our camera body, right? You can draw the camera body, the plastic coverings, things like that, in a 3D software called AutoCAD. Now, you would take some material, and let's say most of our cameras are made with plastic. So you would take maybe like a very thick piece of plastic so that you could put it in the CNC machine, take that 3D drawing that you did, program it, and the CNC machine would cut out your camera body. And so I had to learn how to use that machine and all the tools associated with it to build the machines that I was building, at NASA. And one of the senior mechanical engineers told me, you know, it's not how good you are when things are going great. It's how good you are when things aren't going great. And, I made it sound a lot nicer than he said, but he's like, when you F things up, that's when you realize how good you are. Because if you can fix it when you F it up, then you have some knowledge and experience on dealing with those types of things. So I kind of always take that into concern that, like, when I'm in these tough spots trying to create, and I'm able to think and say, oh, I could do this, and that kind of lets me know, like, oh, I'm able to elevate and think on a different level to still make things happen that maybe shouldn't be able to happen because maybe I don't have the right tools to do it. But just because I have the tools doesn't mean that, just because I don't have the tools doesn't mean that I still can't create something, right? Like we see a lot of people create optical snoot effects, and they don't even have an optical snoot. They go right into Photoshop and make an optical snoot effect, right? So that's a great thing. Knowledge is always power, especially when you use it and don't take it for granted. Exactly. When the course coming out. Hey, listen. I honestly do have, some things with like courses and editing courses and things like that I want to put out. Is honestly difficult in terms of, finding time to dedicate to making those courses and creating YouTube content. Because when you're creating YouTube content, you gotta go video, you gotta take pictures, you gotta get in contact with models, you gotta put the concepts together. I still have to come back and edit everything, video, photos, by myself. And then, you still got the full-time job. So on top of that, like trying to launch a website and then package everything appropriately is just like a schedule. So right now I have a schedule that I'm trying to put everything together, because on top of that, I want to do like workshops and things like that, but I gotta have everything together so that I have one source where if people need information, they can go to, like, right? Like, I mean, Instagram is cool, but if you have like a legit website, that would kind of work, right? So yeah, so definitely in the works. I like the aura, the pose, expression, and props. Appreciate it, Omni. When did you get into engineer? Yeah, so I got into engineering actually, like, I was a kid and I said I wanted to do it, but it's been some years now. But I'm like electromechanical, so I do mainly space stuff. And I have a video on my channel where I show like a system that I built that did space activity. So that's pretty cool. All right, let us see. So that's kind of like the interesting thing right there. Software developer and do websites for marketing. Oh yeah. So that's the good thing. You speak the same language, because when it comes to websites, I code as well. So I know a lot about what you can do. So a lot of times It's like I want to take things into my own hands in terms of building my own website, just because of the flexibility that you have when you know the code that's going behind the website and how you could really make it look, right? So it's a few things. So do we have any more questions on off camera flash photography? We listed the off camera flash strobes, speed lights that you have. If you had to choose one of them, which one would you choose? If you had to choose one of the strobes that you have currently, which one would you choose? And let's see, because we just need, and if you are just joining, let us know where you watching from as well, because we did T-mid time, so we want to know where everybody watching from. I can't even. All right, D-Row 8200 with the bulb. That's a great choice. That's a great choice. Once I took that head off my 8200, it never went back on. It's just the disbursement of light. You can see it. You can see it. All right, Omni Concepts, New Jersey, 8200 as well. Okay. Did any of you all have any grad sessions or proms or anything like that? Okay, let's see. So we got 8200. So 8200 probably was like the game changer in terms of lighting. Like, I think that's what like started it off. Now, I know they say like pocket size a lot, and you know, if you back in the 2000s with the big jeans with the crazy size pockets, yeah, I say it could fit in your pocket. But you know, nowadays ain't nobody really wearing pants like that. I booked the wedding. Okay. So that's what we have. So the one of the things that I do want to remind you all is, on top of you all supporting, the live stream, which I greatly appreciate, and even more so appreciate, watching the videos and things like that, because you all are essentially the reason why, as a creator, you are fueled to keep creating, right? Like, at the end of the day, you want your video to be viewed by somebody, or else I would just make the videos and keep them on my hard drive, and that would be it, right? So I definitely want to appreciate you all for that. And that's one reason why I take the time and go live like this, because it's all about the engagement at the end of the day. So, in the same return, I appreciate you all commenting on my videos and liking my videos, and doing whatever, sharing things like that, because as much as it may not seem like it's anything to YouTube, it is a lot. So I appreciate that. So, the other thing that I wanted to say is this Wednesday as well, May the 25th. One thing that YouTube lacks is the ability to go live with somebody. Like I could put a link in the chat, but that's a whole thing versus Instagram is instantaneous, right? So if you want to share your latest image, if you want to share your latest image on May, this Wednesday, I'm going live where you can share your latest image with T to the M to the IDD. So if you are up for that, get your best image, 7 p.m., May 25th, and you can go live with me. Or I realize some people aren't too fond of going live, so you can email me as well at tmidthecreative@gmail to get your image displayed by me. And all you have to do is give me the details that I need to present it to everyone. So if you want to go live, you can go live. But if you just want to send it to me, you can send it to me as well. So we got Till Vision. And going with the Flashpoint 400. I was shooting about noon today, and it was just enough to overpower the sun. Exactly. And that's why I led this conversation with I would go with the AD400 because of that exact reason. The AD300, you have to be a little bit more smooth, and it may take a little more technical knowledge for you to get around that type of hurdle. Whereas if you're a beginner, you won't run into high-speed sync problems because at that point you probably wouldn't even know about high-speed sync. You would just go with your shutter speed and go about your day because it wouldn't be a phase, right? And then you also could overpower the sun, right? So I like that choice. How do you feel about power shoots? A bunch of models and photographers in one spot. Now, listen, that is a great question because that is essentially what we had in Vegas. So in Vegas, we had a photo walk, and it wasn't as much about being able to have photographers and models all in one space, because you did have some space to separate each other. But what I did notice is from what I like, it kind of presented a problem because you can't be as precise with your shots because the model is like trying to look everywhere almost to get somebody's give everybody like a piece of attention. So let's see. I think I have, let's see. I put this video out. Let's see. I'm trying to see what the official video, cause I think y'all may have seen this video that I put out. Yeah, okay. So this is it. So I kind of did like a little spoof, right? And I'm going to share my screen. And this was kind of the situation that we had right here. All right. So we had a lot of photographers. We had some models. And what you kind of get is, if you haven't seen this video, this is on my channel. Definitely go check it out. But like right here, you can see prime example. We have a lot of people trying to get the shot. So that leaves the model to have to think about where she wants to position her head, right? And by the way, these shots for me, oh man, these came out fire. I mean, I was lucky because I was able to get I was able to get some heat regardless. Cause one thing I will say is, like, personality wise, that comes into play with like these situations is like, depending on who you are. Like, if you are a quiet person, then you might just kind of be more relaxed. But me, I'm more of a person that I don't really care what you think about me. So if you know me or not, now granted, in this particular situation, a lot of people knew who I was because of YouTube, but I'm still going to say what I want to say, try to ease the model, like get her to laugh and things like that. So that's one thing. And when you do that, you tend to get the model kind of like vibing with you a little bit more. So I started to kind of get like some of these shots because of what I'm saying, and, being careless about who's hearing me say what I'm saying or what I'm doing. Like, I think I danced a few times out there, and that's just me, right? But if you're not that type of person, then you kind of just sitting back and getting the shots that you can get. So those situations occur. Now, in this video, I don't know if you all seen it, or it could have. Now look, we're gonna put somebody out there real quick. Y'all know this was Ike's photo walk, so I had to troll him. If y'all did not watch this, the title on my thing is, it say like 7 models in one day on the thumbnail. And also, I recorded this on the Sony ZV-E10 because I wanted I needed a run and gun kind of like setup, and my Sony was just gonna be like too bulky having like both cameras in my hand. So I think it's coming up like right here. And shout out to Anthony right here, because he let me use his Nikon 50mm 1.2 to this whole time. So that's what this video is based on, that 50 1.2. All right, so right here, I don't know if y'all caught this or made it to this part of the video, but if you haven't, definitely go back, check it out, because this is your boy Ike right here. I don't know if y'all knew this, but that was Ike. I'm gonna run it back for y'all. I don't know if y'all caught that, but this is Ike right here. That's like a early 30s or maybe late 20s Ike. So yeah, if y'all did not see this, or if y'all ain't see Ike in this video, definitely go back to this video, and y'all can tag him in the comment, and let him know, like, this how my boy out here dancing. We gonna have to fix that. All right, we can't have him out here dancing like that. That's like little I'm a little teacup short and stout dance right there. We can't be doing that. All right. So yeah, make sure y'all go comment and tag the time where y'all see him doing that dance. I don't know if anybody knew that was him. But yeah, so those types of situations, I feel like you have to be a little bit more vocal and try to like build that communication with the model. That way, when it's a lot of photographers shooting, you can kind of have like a voice, and it's like, oh, that's him. He said this, or like goes a long way. Goes a long way. Yeah, pop lock and all this. When was this in terms of month/temperature? So this was that was February, the end of February, the beginning of March. Temperature was varying at that point, but we had like some 70-degree days, 70 to 75. So it was still bearable out there. Yeah, it was still bearable out there. I tend to not be as creative in those situations, but that's where I got like 80% of my portfolio. I definitely understand that, and it take work. It take work in those situations because you have everybody and just pre-planning. Like if you pre-plan, then you could be on board. Another situation like that, and I'll just show you all this right quick. And I'm telling y'all, like this is the beauty of of having this YouTube channel, because whenever I need to recall something, I just go right to this folder, and 9 times out of 10 it's on YouTube. But if you haven't seen this video, this is on my channel as well. I went to a street meet in DC. What I wanted to tell y'all also is that if you don't have the notification bell on, please turn the notification bell on for me. I definitely appreciate it. Now look, was this? Oh look, now you see, look, I told y'all on location. Y'all see that cart right there? Now that C-Stand looking a little suspect, but y'all see the cart. But what I wanted to point out about this was the fact that right here, this is a street meetup. They were being so creative. Yeah, like D-Ro, this on the channel as well. It's like Nikon, Sony, Fuji photographers come together. And so I was helping holding lights and things like that. But look at the creativeness that she brought out right here. Let me show you. Look, right here. She was not playing. She came with the bow, with the flowers, and she's a photographer out of DC as well. But she got the bow. She took her time to put the flowers around the bow. So I immediately shifted towards them because I was like, oh, you got everything. And so sometimes that's what it take to just, pre-plan things like this. And you get those creative shots. Like I got this shot too. I ain't gonna lie. I definitely took. But y'all know T to the M to the IDD. I'm always putting my bid in somewhere. So I had to get her. I was like, oh yeah, I want to shoot her like outside of this setting. I haven't really like researched her Instagram, but yeah, like she would be a perfect model for like me to do like some very specific types of things. So yeah, it's an art. It's an art in itself. It's an art in itself. So is it worth it paying to attend photo walks or developing your network with aspiring models or working with models? So photo walks. Now this one that I'm showing you is actually free. It's in DC. I think that you can gain a lot of knowledge from going to photo walks. Now I think you have to really analyze the person or event space that's putting it on, because like say like you attend mine, like you kind of know my personality through YouTube. And like how I am on YouTube is how I am in like real person, real time. Like I'm that same person. And so I'm willing to tell you and give you anything that you feel like will help you. And so you have to invest into places like that, like photo walks like that, but also a place that you're going to have a good time. Like it's nothing like, paying your money and like just not enjoying yourself, but trying to take pictures as well. Like somebody that you feel like their vibe, but then also you see like the type of work that they do, so you at least know that you will get that type of work. But if it's a photo walk, then I'm kind of expecting just a little bit more creativity and some diversity in the types of looks. So like I'm working on something and I'm like thinking of different types of looks so that when you add it to your portfolio, you got beauty shots, and then you have like regular portrait shots, but then you may have something with like a setup. And so all of that different lighting setups, you got to take that into account. So with the right person, I think it could be beneficial. I had my first photo walk not too long ago. What type of lens would you suggest in that situation? Longer or shorter? I was using a longer lens. Ended up with a lot of elbows in my shots. Yeah. In that situation, with the photo walk, I'm going to go with a shorter lens. And I rarely use this lens. It's the 24-70. But in this video right here, now, granted, I came to this meetup. I was invited by one of the coordinators to come out. So I was like, let me come out and show love. But knowing I was only intending to be here to do video, because I just wanted to showcase the video. So what I did was, since I knew I only wanted to do video, I said I need a 24-70 because it gave me that range that I needed for video. But then also I could sneak and take my photos as well. So if you, like I said, if you haven't watched this, definitely go check it out. It's definitely cool seeing like everybody's take on that. And actually that was one of the photos that I got right here. And that's with natural light right there. And so definitely, take advantage of those types of situations where you got some flexibility. Yeah, so she was just a friend of the photographer, but I was like, look, I can't let you get away without taking a photo of you, because yeah, I need you in the studio, and I need you for a whole different video separate from this video. But I actually need to find her Instagram, because I don't even know where her Instagram is. Have a blessed evening. Keep up the good content. Inspiration coming. Appreciate you for tuning in, Jay Mitch. Definitely appreciate it. So that pretty much ties up everything. We had our talk that even led to even more. Yeah. She has a dope look. Definitely like a clean, I would even say like high fashion, like very, very clean look. Like, yeah, that I would like to tap into. So we're gonna see if we can make some things happen. But on that note, man, make sure y'all hit the like button for me. Definitely appreciate it anytime you do that. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you want to share your image on my Instagram, follow me on Instagram and look out for that post this Wednesday. I'm going to be going live for that. And look, like, share, all that good stuff. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment on the video or even DM me. So I appreciate you all tuning in and supporting the channel on this Sunday. I hope you all have a great rest of the day and a productive week, because we have a new week ahead. So T to the M to the I D D. Appreciate y'all watching, tuning in. Peace.